Hey guys, welcome back to Hershey's Garage Plus Guns. And in this second part video of a two-parter, I'll show you how to install this beauty of a camera right here, which I got from this little stereo, which is a 7-inch INEXACCESSORIES stereo on this 2011 Nissan ALTIMA. So stick around to find out how easy it is to do it. Before we get too far in the process, we're going to go ahead and pop the trunk. So lift the hood and then remove the negative side of the battery, because if you don't do that and you start messing with wires, you might go ahead and create a spark, an arc that could either trip a fuse in your fuse box or create some type of fire. And you don't want that. Then you're going to come to the back and open up the trunk, because we need to access this little space here to get to where we're going to mount the camera. And I believe I'm going to mount it right here, because it's not one of those license plate cameras, but it needs to, the wiring needs to go into here and out through here. And the only way to do that is to get this little spot off here so we can get into the internals. So you're going to take out these little clips right here using a plastic removal tool, and you just get underneath like this little top part here and pop that off, and then get underneath the back and they should pop out. Now that that's off, then you want to come underneath and remove these little bolts here. And there's going to be 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3, which is going to remove this little cowling here, this little part. That way you can see what's behind there and mount your camera, and then run your wires somewhere underneath, like through here, and eventually along this track and down. Then for the last piece, there are these little clips right here that you just gotta squeeze together like that, and they'll pop up, allowing you to lift this off. And there's 2 of them, one on that side and one on that side, which then simply allows you to lift up, and there's where it was being held, all along there. And this is where we needed to access, because we're going to be mounting the camera right there, and there is nothing behind there, which is a good thing. But just remember to remove this completely so you can work on it. You're going to have to take off this little wiring, which, if you look underneath, it corresponds to this little guy right here. And what you're going to do is just press on this little button right here, which allows you to take this out of here like that, and then you can feed this up. Okay, once that's removed, and like I said, I just took it out of there. That's a little grommet that was going through the metal there. Now we can adhere the camera onto the wherever you want to, but I'm going to put it on this little back part right here and have it mounting like that. So I need to put 2 screws in here into the back of here with a nut. So I'm going to have to put drill 2 holes in the back of here to be able to do that process. And then I'm going to run the wires along here and along the existing spot where it goes through this little grommet. So I'm gonna have to cut the back part right here. It's got a little zip tie on there. Cut that and then open this up so I can fish the wires through, and then these will be sticking out underneath here so I can run them down along this path, like I said, to where it's supposed to go. And it's going to be going through the existing opening right there, so we don't have to put another opening in here. And like I said, that's where the little grommet goes through. And voila, it's on there, nice and secure, and it looks good. And just as a little side note, I used these, like I said, little screws, and they have little nuts on the back of them. And these are aftermarket ones compared to the ones that they give you, which are these little tiny screws that are self-tapping. And I don't like these ones. That's why, because they don't have a nut on the back, so that's why I went with these ones. And then you can get these at the local hardware store, very easy. Or they do provide a 3M sticky tape thing, which you can stick on the back here and not have to use screws at all. But I don't trust this for the long term, so I'm not going to use these ones. And I think this is much more secure. So let's go back to the car and we will install that in the car. And again, just to show you, before I put this back on the vehicle, I took the little rubber grommet and sliced it apart, and then put the camera wire in there, and then went ahead and put some electrical tape and put that around there. And then now we can stick it up there and it will be nice and secure. So feed the wires through the hole. And if you want to put a layer of wire protector, which is just this little plastic stuff, on the outside right here and through here, because it's going to might possibly be pinched right here, that probably would be a good idea, and you can do that now. Then once you got that snapped in and secured, looking like that, then it's time to put on your nuts again. Now go ahead and plug in your trunk actuator, and then connect the wiring that you receive in the box as follows: yellow to yellow on this line, and then red to this black, which comes out, and these ones are going to go to the backup line. But we're going to run these across and down over here on this existing line, and we're going to put the plastic covering on the line, and then zip tie them to here, and then go down and trace it down, and then go to the backup wire over here, and then the other wire is going to go this way. And eventually, whoops, this is what it's going to look like from your camera. Like I said, there's those two lines that we plugged in. One line is going to go all the way to the front of your speaker system, and then that little red wire that's connected to this line is going to go over to your backup line, and then this is going to go just directly to your backup line and hook up into this guy and this guy, red to red, which is positive, and that goes on the positive side of your brake light, and then the negative side to the negative side of your brake light. So let's do that now. And as a little trick, before we secure these, I'm going to go ahead and put electrical tape around here so they won't pull off accidentally. And you are going to have to get some extra line to extend this out up here and all the way down to go over to tap into your brake light. And this line might not be long enough on this guy, so you might have to extend both of these lines too. Okay, now the wires are soldered, and then the connections are zip tied up, and then I put that nice guard on there, and then followed the existing wiring route, coming on down, and then out over here, and then I stopped right here because I need to run these two wires and the ground wire back this way and connect into here, into the backup light. So we need to take this little clip off of here, and then there's another little clip off of here, right there. And those are the same clips as the ones that we took off from up here. So take those two off, and then you can peel this back, and then we'll be able to get in here to tap into those backup light wires. And then, like I said, you can peel this back. That exposes your wiring, and you have a choice here. You can either go ahead and tap in to the wires right here. These are the wires that you're going to need to tap in because they go directly to your light. And the backup light ones are specifically going to be this red and purple guy, and then the black ground wire right here. So you'll be tapping into the ground wire through the ground wire, the black wire over here, and then the two red wires go to this red and purple wire and tap into there. Or you can take the tail light out itself, like I did, because I wanted to make sure that the wiring was correct. And to do that, you just take off these two little nuts that are on the back of these posts, one right there and then one right there, and then you've got to squeeze these little guys back here. And it's hard to see, but this guy right here, you have to take a pair of pliers and squeeze that together and pinch that together. And then there's one over here that's kind of buried back in the corner, and hopefully if I position you right, you'll be able to see this one. But it's way back in the corner right here where my finger's at. It's way back in there, and it's the same thing. You'll have to squeeze that together, and then once you do that, just gently start rocking it back and forth, and this thing will pop right out. And like I said, you can tap into the wiring this way if you want to too, and then run it through here, but I think it'll be easier there. And just to confirm, this is the backup light, and like I said, it's that black wire and then the purple and red wire. All right, once those are spliced in, good to go. I went ahead and put some electrical tape all over it, and then taped it up to this existing line, put the line back on the little hook there, and then it's going to be time to go ahead and push this back up, put the pins in there, and then we'll run this wire, tucking it back either down here, along here to the front, lifting the carpet up, and then, like I said, running it along there and through the back seat, and then along the floorboard. But I will show you what wiring technique I use. I ended up going up along the top and pushing the wire down through there. And the reason why I'm giving you guys a choice, because there is two choices. You can go on the top or the bottom, and then come through this little opening here in the back seat. But like I said, I chose the top because I think it'll be a little neater, and then just ran it over the side, pushing it in the sides down through here, and then running it down the floorboard like this, and tucking it underneath so you can't see it, down along there. Then in the front seat, same thing, tucking it underneath, can't see it, all the way down into here,
I missed a spot, so I said you just tuck that underneath there. It won't come out. And then I got to here along the floorboard. I came up here, zip tied it underneath here, and then made sure it wasn't going to touch the emergency brake, but zip tied it up here, and then went, there's a wire underneath this little dash part underneath here, so I fished it over here, and then there's a point that I zip tied it underneath here, and then it goes up over here, and you'll see when I move over here that there is an opening, and you can see the floorboard right there. So I came up through here, and like I said, I zip tied it to that line down in there. It's up out of the way, and then it comes out here to where you can use it to plug into the back of the stereo. And then of course this guy has to go to, depending on what stereo you use, if you use the INEXACCESSORIES one on the stereo wiring harness, it has a wire that says, let me get it right there, reverse in, and hopefully you can read that, reverse in. So that is the one, and it's orange and black on my stereo wiring harness, and that's the one that connects to this little red guy. And then, like I said, then you plug in your video line into the back of my stereo, and yours could be different if yours is a different stereo, but mine is going to be right here. All right, now my reverse line is all soldered up, and like I said, you can do whatever type of technique you want to make your connection good. So now all we have to do is we're going to plug this into, like I said, in mine, this is the backup camera spot for that video in. So I'm going to put the video in and then hook up the harnesses in the back here, the stereo and the AC controls and the antenna. We'll hook those up, kind of set this up just a bit and make sure that it works by going in, obviously, and putting the negative battery cable on there. And like I said, making sure it works first before we actually start putting everything else back and buttoning it all up and making it all look pretty. Okay, so it's barely put in. I can still take it out if I need to, but cross your fingers. This is the time to cross them, and hopefully everything turns out good. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it up. And wait for a second. And let's see if it comes on. Yay, there's the Nissan sign. All right, and does the radio work? Okay, radio works. And then let's see if the camera works. Camera works. And not too shabby. It looks really good. Yay! It all works. So now's the time we know that everything works. So let's button everything up, which I mean wrap everything that needs to be wrapped, zip tie everything that needs to be zip tied, and then it's time to put the stereo back in. And then make sure you put your trunk lid liner back on. And then, like I said, back here, make sure everything's all nice and tidy. These are all cut off. These are my zip ties. Everything looks good. And then make sure that your trunk closes, and this is not going to impede anything, because sometimes you have to make some modifications. I didn't left myself enough line, but just in case, make sure that that's good to go. Now let's put in that radio for good. So you're gonna, like I said, hook everything all up, make sure everything's all buttoned up, and then we're gonna slide this in, just like the old one. Put the two Phillips head screws in the tops and then in the bottoms, and then we put this guy underneath to button that up, stick this guy in, and put these two
wiring harnesses on the back, like how they were. And then we're going to make sure that the external speaker is up where we want it, clipped on to someplace good so that they can hear you. And that is the radio all put back together. So let's do it now. So that's it, guys. That's how you install a backup camera. And woo-wee, boy, she looks nice. Good placement. Can't tell that it's not supposed to be there. Doesn't interfere with the license plate or anything. Looks really good. Again, guys, that camera came with this package, which is from INEXACCESSORIES, and awesome, perfect. But this is a generalized video on if you have another backup camera, you can do the same thing. So anyway, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe and comment down below if you have any questions or concerns or anything like that. I'll try to answer them as quick as possible. But thanks a bunch. Love you guys, and hopefully this works out for you. I'm pretty sure it will, because it's not too hard, just time consuming. So, see you in the next one. Peace.